All right. In 3, 2, 1, 2, uno. We are live. And like my amigo from Nepal, Saujanya, I believe, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, he will say, Rivera, we are live. And yeah, we are live. Welcome back to Online Digital Education. This is a mastery group, Facebook community of teachers, collaborating with teachers to help teachers ascend the value ladder. No competition here, collaborating with each other. My name is Gabriel. And today, I want to talk about 3 ways that teachers use their vulnerability as their superpower. And, if you're thinking superpower, like, you're one of these Marvel comic heroes or DC comic heroes, forget about it. I'm talking about educators. I am an online ESL English teacher. I work with kids in China Monday to Fridays. And, it's exhausting because I got to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning, sometimes a little bit earlier than that. And I work until 8 a.m. my time, local time here in Ecuador. And any other teacher or educator who dedicates their time to wanting to inspire, impact, young minds, future minds, to become who they want to become, who they need to become. Those are the superheroes that I'm talking about. Superpowers that you have is your vulnerability. And that's what we're going to talk about today. How teachers can use that vulnerability, as an online educator. And, this is something that we don't even think of doing, right? Because we start to feel maybe a little self-conscious about ourselves. Like, I don't want to appear vulnerable in front of anybody, so I'm not going to do that. But, sometimes you have to. And the reason why you're going to want to show your vulnerability is because when you're creating a community of teachers or educators, right, you want to be able to resonate with people in an honest way at a level, at a personal level that people can say, you know what, this is real, this is unscripted. And, I'm unscripted, I'm feeling my phone at the same time. And I've been through that, I identify with that, I understand where you're coming from, been there, done that, that's what people do. Sometimes we do it in the most unproductive way. I call it now the virtual water cooler, right? Where, you got all these teacher groups where they're supposed to be helping each other out, resources for teachers, like there's a group for teachers using Zoom, the ESL teachers, linguistics, all these English teacher groups, that, they by far serve a better purpose of gossiping and complaining than they do about helping each other out. They don't show their vulnerability, they show their hate, they show their negative emotions. They just put themselves out there to blast everything except, show their true vulnerability. And, people follow each other with that. I'm talking about that true vulnerability, that superpower that we all have. When you dig deep inside your soul, inside yourself, and actually share that genuineness with somebody, with a community that you're actually serving, helping out. That's what I'm talking about. And that's what I'm going to show you today. 3 ways to use that vulnerability as their superpower. So, one of the first things that I want to talk about is identifying what it is that you're not saying. We spend a lot of time talking, but we're really not getting our message across, right? So your brain doesn't differentiate between, a physical or an emotional harm. Just doesn't. That could be opinion, and I have no evidence of that. But I read that somewhere, and I thought that was pretty cool. So, I retained that information because I'm like, wow, I just did an emotional intelligence course, and I got an 80. And I was like, wow, that was pretty intense for a intro level EI, course. And now, I read somewhere that your brain doesn't differentiate between physical and emotional harm. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. So it goes against, our natural instincts to expose ourselves. That makes us vulnerable. Nobody wants to seem vulnerable. So this opens you up for rejection. Nobody wants to be rejected. I hate that. But it's part of who we are, what we are, and it's what we got to tolerate, right? Regardless if you're a teacher or not. Most of the time, this is something that saves your life and can serve you well. Other times, it holds you back from your greatest breakthrough. So if there's anything that I've learned over the last, since 2017, I'm going to say, here in Ecuador, is that I've tried in the most vulnerable of ways, in the most sincerest and honest of ways, to build some businesses, to just get something going, to serve a community, whether it was a local community or the virtual community. I've tried both. And, I got to tell you that, building my business, okay, if you're feeling something other than people, you're building a business for that reason, you're feeling it for other people, you're doing it for others, not for yourself. So the rejection comes with that. I had I had a few here in Ecuador. And I'm going to show you because I think it sucks, but I'm going to show you anyway, right? In the last couple of years, this is what I've put together. So, we try to put together what's called aceite ratero, or thieves oil, thing that we made ourselves. We saw the recipe, we thought it was a cool thing. And, we put it out, we did the label, and we tried to market this on the internet, but we weren't really prepared for this during the pandemic. And it's gotten nothing but a small amount of likes, nothing major. This is me and my girl, where we had to bundle up and cover up because, the pandemic hit us pretty hard. And that exposed our vulnerability. Here, we're just starting to enjoy the fact that, okay, we got a pandemic, but we weren't really sure about that. But here's a picture of us being vulnerable again. This is one of the businesses that I opened up here in Puerto Viejo. Let me stop this slideshow. Okay, and my girl wanted to open up a chicken place because, she's got a chicken background. And I was like, all right, let's try to do something innovative, something different. So I thought chicken and waffles, and she pulled up actually a nice recipe and we duplicated it here. We tested it out. It was actually pretty delicious. So we created Pollo Gringo, a chicken and waffle house, a small place in Puerto Viejo. And we opened up at the end of September of last year, and by January, we were closed. We're trying to serve people that expose our vulnerability, but that didn't work well for us. I mean, I put everything into it that, I was earning teaching online. I was hoping that in parallel, I gained that extra, income so that I can move away from online teaching and go back to the brick and mortar. I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty happy, realizing that I'd rather work online and serve a community online than I do brick and mortar. Brick and mortar is it's not where I want to be anymore. But then, I spent the last couple of years being very vulnerable. Even my health became weak and vulnerable as well. I lost a lot of weight being here in the country due to a few things, besides stress and everything else. I've acquired, parasites, I guess the only word I have for it is just parasites, that it's beyond me how these things weaken the body. And then when you get all stressed out, you get weaker, you lose weight and everything else. And it has not been fun for me, but I'm still pushing, and I'm pushing forward because I found ways to get back on track with my health. I stopped smoking forcefully, and that's made me cranky a few times, but you know what? I'm still pushing forward. And, feeling vulnerable out of character. Okay, as an online teacher, I had to learn how to not only do but enjoy, getting silly, poking fun, having a good time with it. And I do. I mean, I have fun now with the kids. I do silly things like that. I put on the party hats. I got the axe. And it's beyond my comfort zone. It makes me feel vulnerable. Makes me feel well, it did, if anything. But I'm kind of used to it now because I'm actually enjoying it. Getting into my comfort zone or discomfort zone was something that allowed me to again start to identify myself a little bit better. Here, I went online, right, and I created a community called Confia 593 or Trust 593. 593 is the country code for Ecuador. And, I was trying because Ecuador has a lot of for rents, for sales. And I was like, wow, what an opportunity. So, since I had a brief real estate background in the States, I thought, what a great idea, since there's trust issues here in the country, to create a Trust 593 blog, website. And I would post, pictures of community rentals free of charge. And I would speak with the owners and say, look, man, I speak to a community of renters who are looking to rent all the time, and I vet them. I filter out the junk. And what if I can fill these spots up for a rental commission, that you would pay me, and I bring you in qualified or quality people. And they were like, cool. And what they loved about it was I'm gonna publish them for free, post them for free on my blog, and talk about them. And this week to week was getting bigger and bigger, but nobody was renting. And I felt totally vulnerable doing that one because I put a lot of myself into it, but a lot of people here, it's a crazy thing down here, the trust issues were so great, and they still are, that, you could be that, I think, one of the best people out there, honest people out there. And, you can't break the ice here with rentals because everybody wants, something nice for $100 a month. Not an easy way to go, but, that exposed a lot of my vulnerabilities too, It just made me, it just made me feel like, wow, what can I do to get through people, homeowners here, and even renters, to see eye to eye, without trying to take advantage of each other, and then of course taking advantage of me. Not feeling it, man. I lost a lot of weight here with all the stress, and I'm finally, gaining it back. I got, my bones. I look real old there, Here's my Chicken and Waffles logo, failed. Here's a shoe store, this is the same shoe store that we have now across the street, and we try to open this up, and we fixed it up, we painted it, we put money into it. My girl, she did those lamps, by hand. She bought the paper at the local, bookstore, and she saw, on YouTube a video how to make leaves, and she thought it was pretty cool, so we did them with wire. And as we're building this up and we're starting to slowly open up, we have a unique shoe product, not too pricey, not too cheap, because everything down here is very cheap. And, the in-between prices were just not good enough for people. And we lost a lot of money with that too, and lost a lot of time, money. It puts us in a bad situation mentally. It stressed us out, and here we are. We're still trying, only to realize that, it's a tough way to go, man. To put yourself out there and try to help people and serve a community when nobody's listening, when nobody's wanting to listen, So, it is just a question of who is going to be brave, or the brave one, to say what they're saying, what they want to say. I'm saying it, right? It is scary to go against nature and be exposed. But is it worth it? I got to tell you, I feel like it is worth it, at least for me. And I continue to push the envelope because I have a reason to want to continue to strive and accomplish my goals. And right now, my goal is to get 688,000 teachers online learning how to monetize their experience, their academic achievements, using ClickFunnels. And I provide you with the support and the training for that, free of charge. I provide a workshop in my community. I provide you some digital assets. And, I'm going to continue to do that because this actually has become a viable, community, and it has a lot to offer. And I provide a workshop. My mentor does. It's a 90-minute webinar, free of charge, where you get to listen to how you can monetize your talents as an educator for free. No commitment. You come, you look up that, you listen to the framework, you ask your questions, they get answered, they debunk all of your, concerns, and then you decide, do I want to continue with this? Do I want to monetize my experience online? Is it really that viable? And when you answer those questions as yes, you'll probably be like, all right, I want to jump on this because you know what? It makes sense. And you have a community that I am the administrator of who, maintains a highly ethical, community, high value, trusting, and a safe community. Instead of having all the bickering and nurturing all that negative vibe, I'm providing you with a positive vibe, a community that you can thrive in instead of feeling dejected, instead of feeling like you're not getting anywhere, your life is just spinning in one of those mousetraps, So what is the second way for teachers to use the vulnerability as a superpower? Well, you use your unspoken words to create connections, okay? Your audience, your dream audience, the people that you're trying to impact, okay, as a niche educator, okay? Your audience can't find you until you take that brave step, until you get out there and start doing what I'm doing, okay? It's only when we open up and become transparent about who we really are and that we really allow ourselves to connect with us, all right? And yeah, so, the community of teachers, all right, is an authentic connection in a culture of welcoming each educator exactly as they are, right? And it should be, right? Doesn't matter color, creed, religion, etc. Political opinions and all that. Don't bring all that junk into it. You got one purpose, man. I mean, be transparent, but that should not be your focus. Your focus should be, how can I monetize, my educational experience online so that I can earn a living, sustain myself, and impact an audience, okay, that has a problem that I can serve, that I can resolve with my educational experience. And that should be your priority, okay? The community of teachers is authentic. Has to be, okay? So I'm here to lead the way, right? In order to create a community like this, a community connection and authenticity, I'm here, okay, to be the first one and to lead that way. So at first, okay, when you first post, okay, your truth on Facebook post, it is truly like talking to no one. Nobody's listening, okay? There are no likes, no followers, no nothing. Your brain is going to want to like hit that crack, all right? Hit the pipe, and you're going to try to persuade you. It's going to try to persuade you, right, to do anything, okay, that everybody else is doing. What's been proven, chase the shiny objects, have that imposter syndrome thing going on, or do what will get you a like or a follow. That's not where you want to be. Don't do it. You're smarter than that. All right. The second you share what's authentic about you, people will come. People will start to resonate with you. They're going to be like, oh, wow. Now that is authentic, and that's what you're looking for. You don't want to be part of that imposter syndrome. You want to chase the shiny object look. Like I've said many times, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Teachers, I can show you the way because I've been doing it. I provide you the framework. You get a free webinar, 90 minutes. You got until the end of the year, to take advantage of this too. All right. And I'm looking to pick up 688,000 teachers globally. Right? Because, according to a statistical site that I saw about how many educators we need by the year 2030, which is 10 years from now, it'll be 9 years in the next month and a half. All right, there's a need for like 68.8 million teachers globally. I'm looking for 688,000. 688 happens to be a very interesting number in numerology. If you look it up, it's a really fantastic number. I was stunned when I came across that number. I was like, wow, that's really like, it's resonating with me. So that's my mission. My personal mission is to get the first 688,000 teachers, not all at once. I'm doing it every week, 10 teachers per week. Come and watch, the webinar that we provide for free. Just come and watch it. Sit there, ask your questions, get involved. And if it answers your questions, how you're going to monetize, how you can monetize your teacher experience 5 different ways, your academic achievements 5 different ways, while serving on a niche basis on the internet using Facebook organically, okay, you're going to benefit from that. And then from there, you decide if you want to grow with it. I provide you in my workshop all the tools that you need to get started, okay? And this webinar will give you everything that you need to get started and become profitable, okay, within the first 30 days. So you decide. But as a Christmas gift, I'm providing you a seat, okay, 10 a week to the end of the year. And then from there, we'll see how it goes, because right now it's exploding and it's a beautiful thing. So, seats are always going to be limited. I got 10 that I get comfortable with, and I can fill this up easily, and I do. So don't do it, all right? Be smarter about chasing shiny objects. Don't go getting suckered into like, I'm not getting any likes or followers. You got to be authentic. You got to put yourself out there. You got to become vulnerable. You got to allow your unspoken words to create that connection. People will vibe and resonate with you once they start to hear what you got to say. And lastly, you want to shift your focus to people who you want to serve, okay? You got to want to serve somebody. You got to know who you want to serve. I provide you with a teacher niche, document that shows you how to break down your educational experience based on questions, right? Why do you like what you do? Where do you want to do it? How do you want to do it? All that kind of good stuff. So you want to focus on your dream audience so that you can vibe with them. And it's not about you, okay? It's about the people you want to serve. So if you want to serve kids, between the ages of 4 and 8, who live in Syria, whose parents speak French, that's a niche, okay? And if you want to teach them not just English, but ESL, or if you want to teach them just, let's say, pronunciations, exercises, again, that's a niche. You're going to find your audience on the internet, on Facebook with that. And Facebook has, 30% of the global population on a daily basis. So your dream audience, which you only need 100 students a month, if you can't get 100 students a month out of 2.7 billion on Facebook and 7.8 billion on the planet, you're not trying hard enough. Don't get desperate. Don't get anxious. Just do the work, lay the groundwork, and shift your focus to the people you want to serve. Right? This is not, this is the number one thing that has, has you going from being, well, let me rephrase that. Okay. This is the number one thing that has me going from being a legal resident, okay, in Ecuador, which I am. I'm a legal resident with an expired passport, to working for myself and changing the course of my life. All right. My passport expired, and maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but it did, on March of 2018. So as I'm trying to get my stuff together, as I'm trying to vibe, as I continue to work here and, serve the community, I'm fixing all my documents, I'm fixing my life up, and I'm serving you guys. So, to create a thriving teacher community out of nothing, all right, it has all gone back to, opening up for me, sharing my story and talents, all right. This is scary, but not necessary, okay. to create a massive impact. But you have to allow yourself to become vulnerable. You have to focus on the people you want to serve. Okay, if you can't get over the fear for yourself, okay, do it for the people that are waiting, to hear your message. Okay, that's important to them. The people that you're trying to serve and they vibe with you, they do so because there is, and they find authenticity, genuineness in your efforts. It's unscripted. They can feel, that they've been there, done that kind of thing, and it's not your common hating language or whatever. You can do that in other groups, but in ODE Mastery, okay, I prefer that you keep a vibe of collaboration and helping teachers ascend the value ladder. And that's important. Everybody who helps each other up, okay, will actually become a lot better at serving your community. Once you do that, sky's the limit. It's not about the money. The money will come, but it's about serving, providing a high quality niche education, okay, while you're building yourself up. People will listen. Eventually they'll find you. And when they do, boom, the hammer drops. And all of a sudden you're going to find yourself too busy, to talk to anybody else, and you're going to need help, right? So you're going to have to hire a team. You're going to have to hire somebody to do your graphics, because you're going to be focused now on your message. And that is worth every penny. Okay? So 3 things. Identify what it is that you're not saying. Use your unspoken words to create a connection. Okay? Shift your focus to the people you want to serve. If you can do all those 3 things and maintain yourself, authentic, your community, your educational niche business is going to thrive. It's going to elevate. And your first step, honestly, is take that workshop. It's a free workshop. It's a webinar. It's not even a workshop. It's a webinar. Okay, it's not a 5-day thing. It's not a 30-day thing, although you can do that if you want. Okay, but this is a 90-minute webinar where you get to see the whole framework, how to monetize your educational experience, your academic achievements, put it in perspective, get the full framework out of it, ask your questions, and then decide how you want to move forward. To move forward, you got to be authentic. You got to display your superpower, which is your vulnerability, so that you can vibe with your community. The community is going to love you, but you got to allow yourself that opportunity. You can't be afraid to fail, because if you do, that's a learning curve, and you just do it again. Get up and do it again. I've done it 6 times, 6 times here in Ecuador since I came here. And between, like I said, between a chicken and waffles, a shoe store, a rental blog, a Latin jazz blog, and now, of course, the shoe store again here, it's slightly better. And now my online affiliate marketing for teacher community is going a lot better. So 6 times the charm for me. It could be 1 time, 2 times the charm for you. Or if you've been looking online and failing, to get something going the right way, I get you, man. It doesn't have to be 3 times the charm or 12 times the charm. This is a community that you can find that vibe. And that 90-minute webinar is available to you. Just ask me for the link. Just say, listen, drop me the link for the webinar, and it's yours. I'm doing 10 teachers a week for the next 6 weeks until the end of the year. I'm providing you that link. I want to give you this opportunity for you to come check it out. It's a free webinar. It'll answer a lot of your questions about teaching online, being your own teacherpreneur. And if everything's cool with you, your questions get answered, move forward with it. That's it. You got a community like mine, my mentors, the ClickFunnels community, which is like a 1.2 million strong, of people who are very supportive. And that's what you want. You want a community like that. Or whatever you want to do. All right? So, online digital education, Mastery. This is a Facebook community of teachers helping teachers ascend the value ladder. All right, my name is Gabriel. You know, I look forward to hearing from you. You should come on down, check it out, look at my newsfeed, leave a comment, and we'll get you what you need. Talk to you soon.